Well, good morning. Last week we talked about Lent and we talked about prayer. Another discipline of Lent is fasting. Now, fasting has an interesting tradition. It's available in almost every religion in the world. And technically, in the Catholic Church, fasting means abstaining from food. And so, in the past, for those of you who are much older, before Vatican II, you had to fast 12 hours before receiving communion. Nowadays, you only have to fast an hour before receiving communion, which is something that most of us probably forget. And so, but there's another version to fasting that I think is really important because our society has evolved. For example, a lot of people today associate dieting as fasting. I'm not going to eat sweets because I can lose weight. I'm not going to do this or that. And there's all these different diets that include fasting. So, how do we regain this moment of fasting? How do we allow ourselves to help us to grow deeper? Well, maybe fasting isn't just about food. For some people, maybe yes. But how else can we fast? Well, we can fast by abstaining from certain things that are not good for us. For example, we can abstain from gossiping. We can abstain from judgmentalizing people. We can abstain from certain programs on television that we know are not good for us. We can abstain from doing certain things that aren't very helpful, such as spending a lot of time playing on computer games when we could use that time for something else. So all these are moments or ways of fasting that affect our way of Lent. And, if we're going to fast, for example, from food, and we're going to be miserable and grumpy, then please eat. Because it's an important aspect of what it means. Fasting is to help us to grow in the love of God. I love this story that was told to me by a man, a very holy man, by the name of Thomas Keating. He was a Trappist monk. He has since died. But in the Trappist monasteries, you always have to get permission from the abbot to fast. And so he was the novice master. So he went to the abbot and said, listen, I would like to fast. And so the abbot said, why? He said, because I think it would be a really good example to show the young novices how important it is and what a good person I am following God. And the abbot said, oh, I think congratulations. I think that's wonderful. And he said, for your fast, you should eat a chocolate bar every day in front of the novices. In other words, what you need to do is to grow in humility, not in giving up food, but grow in humility. And that's what fasting helps us to do. It allows us to be changed. And if it doesn't do that, then it doesn't have a purpose. Then it's dieting or that's anything else. And so, my sisters and brothers, continue to grow this season of Lent through fasting and abstinence and prayer and almsgiving. And at the end, you will become a much better person, a person much closer to God on this journey that we call life.